It's noon Central Standard Time in Houston, Texas, which means it's time for another Leadership Lunch. I'm Matt Morey, the C4 Leader, and I'm hoping that we'll enjoy this particular quote. It comes from a gentleman named Paulo Coelho. Paulo Coelho. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He is one of the most famous Portuguese authors in history. In fact, he's the most well-published Portuguese author and best-selling Portuguese author in history. He has a book called The Alchemist that has been in 80 different languages. 80 different languages. That is an incredible amount of languages. It's quite an accomplishment. Someday I'm going to have to pick it up and read it. I'm starting to learn Portuguese just a little bit myself, so hopefully I can start to enjoy some of his material. Now, today's quote, though, is, "How much have I missed? How much I missed, simply because I was afraid of missing it." How much I missed simply because I was afraid of missing it. It's a great quote, and the reason why I say it's a great quote is because we very often are too afraid to take that first step forward. And I know I've talked about this in a couple other quotes. It seems to be a repetitive theme in a lot of the leadership quotes, and I'm sure we all have those experiences. But you need to be willing to take that step. You need to be willing to take the jump. You need to be willing to make that leap of faith, because so often we are afraid to move because we're afraid that if we move, we'll miss the opportunity. But if we don't move, then the opportunity passes us by. And so often, it's after it's passed us by, long down the road, that we realized we missed it. So you can either stand still and the opportunity moves on you, or you can take the step. Don't be afraid that you'll miss it, but take the step. Try and seize the opportunity. And by seizing that opportunity, then you get to enjoy it. All right, so that was the leadership lesson for today. It applies to not just individuals, but teams as well. If you think about it, so often teams get wrapped up in analysis paralysis, one of my favorite catchphrases, and people don't move forward, and the teams don't move forward because the leader is afraid to push the team to move forward. "We've always done it that way" is another phrase that comes up a lot in that realm. So I would encourage you to take a look at what you're doing. Take a look at what your team is doing. Are you taking advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you? Or are you waiting for a decision to be made? If you know the majority, if you're past 50%, in fact, Coleman Powell says if you're past 40%, then it's time to make a decision, and it's time to work for it. It's time to move forward. All right, I'm Matt Morey, the C4 Leader, and as always, I will... Boy, it's an odd day for me today. The kids are home. It's been an odd week. The Houston flooding is still going on. Thankfully, my family hasn't been touched by it, but a lot of my friends have. So it's playing with me a little bit. I'm going to try this again. I'm Matt Morey, the C4 Leader, and as always, I'm committed that you will get more with Morey. Here's to you and your team, exploding into success.